Guys, you already see the title of today's video. It has officially been my 4-year anniversary from starting my actual social media marketing agency 4 years ago. It's absolutely insane even saying that. I've got 4 years of experience under my belt. I kind of want to break down in today's video kind of like what I've learned, all the trials and tribulations, all the mistakes I've made, the ups and downs, where I'm at right now, what my plans are for the future, and just overall stuff you can take from me and I can give to you in terms of experience and kind of like how you can, expedite your success as well. So just real quick, guys, 4 years ago on April the 23rd, 2018, on this very channel, I actually dropped a video stating that I'm going to start a social media marketing agency from complete scratch. I just transitioned from doing drop shipping and I went over into SMMA. There's a whole video on that and reasons why I did that back on my channel, so take a look at that particular video. But yes, at the time of recording this, it is 21st of April 2022. So if you're watching this in the future, shout out to you. If you're watching this on the exact date it released, definitely shout out to you guys as well. But yeah, I don't know when I'm going to release this, so it's officially been pretty much 4 years since I actually started running a social media marketing agency. Now, before I even get into that, if you are new around here, please make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and turn the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new upload. And if you've been following me from this journey, from the entire 4 years or 3 years, 2 years, however long, it doesn't really matter. If you've been following me and supporting me and watching my channel and stuff like that, honestly, shout out to you guys. It's been an absolutely emotional, crazy, up and down journey. Can't believe we actually quote unquote made it and we're actually here. So just real quick, I'm not too sure if I also did this in my previous video. I just want to give a huge shout out though to Nick. Again, the reason why I did doing this is because I can't remember what I actually recorded previously. I recorded quite a few videos today. I kind of like sit down and record all my videos on one particular day, so I can't really remember what I said in my last video. But if I haven't, Nick, huge shout out to you, man. I'll throw a screenshot up on the screen right now, but shout out to you, Nick. Honestly, he's been able to kill it. He actually joined agency transmutation about 5 months ago. He's now been able to scale his agency to around 8k per month and he's aiming for 9k. He actually sent me an Instagram message on Instagram. That's absolutely huge. Being able to scale that literally to a 6-figure business in 8 months. It quite literally has taken me 4 years to actually, well, it took me like 3 years to actually finally scale my agency up to that 10k per month mark, over the 6-figure mark basically. So long story short, so honestly, Nick, big shout out to you. And if you guys are obviously interested in enrolling into age fermentation, it is still $597. It will be going up obviously as the modules get released. More and more modules get released, the more value it's actually going to be in that particular program. So the price is obviously going to go up all the way up to $997. I think that's going to be cut off point. Maybe a little bit more, maybe, yeah, it's definitely not going to be less than $997, put it that way. But long story short, guys, if you want to enroll in that, the link is below. Now let's get into this. 4 years of actually starting a social media marketing agency. Honestly, guys, it's a little bit emotional. It's a little bit crazy because it feels like the 4 years have definitely, it feels weird because it feels like the 4 years have flown by. But then when I think about each year, I progressively have gotten better and better. And like when I was broke, I never ever want to go back to being broke, put it that way. And I feel like that it's almost like the better it gets, the quicker the time goes. So like the first year was very long, tedious, arduous, horrible year. Second year it was still kind of crappy. Third year was obviously good. That was kind of like when I actually started making good money. And then I'm about to just go into my 4th year right now, so that hopefully that's even better, if you will. So long story short, guys, just real quick, again, dropped a video on my channel. I do recommend you check that out, which was like 4 years ago on the 23rd of April. Take a look at that particular video. That first 17 months though, guys, what happened? That's a good question. What actually happened to Montel Gordon for the first 17 months? The first 17 months when I started my agency, honestly, guys, I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to go at it myself. Honestly, I wish I just bought a program and actually just went through instead of just like trying to get. I didn't actually try to get people to send me programs. People just literally sent me programs out of their own goodwill anyway, which I thank them for. But then it's like I almost regret it because it's like I didn't take those programs very seriously. I wish I actually bought the programs myself and put money on the line, even though I was dead broke and whatnot. I probably couldn't afford a program, but you know what I'm trying to say, guys. I've noticed, right? Let me give you an example, because I actually said this to a student the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, this is definitely I understand where you're coming from." I've noticed, right, that whenever I give a program or something like that to one of my friends or family members for completely free, they do nothing with it. Whereas there's people like Nick scaling the agencies up to like 8k per month within 5 months. Like, why is that? It's because Nick actually put money on the line and actually was invested in me, if you will. Whereas, and let me give you an example. If I was to give you a book, right, a business book on how to make $1 million or whatever it is, and I gave that to you, but I'm just a friend of yours, you probably won't take that seriously because you probably be like, oh, it's free, you don't take it seriously. But if I was to charge you 10k for that particular book, I bet you any money you would run home straight away to your bedroom, lock yourself in your office, your bedroom, whatever it is, wherever you're working, education and you would read that damn book. So yeah, honestly, I wish I just invested in myself way before that. And I'm not just saying that so you guys can invest into my program. It's genuinely a thing. It's almost like you take things seriously that you spend your money on. When you, for example, buy a new nice fancy car, you're sure as hell are going to look after that car. But if you get it for free, it's going to be kind of like, you're still going to look after it, but you're still not going to put as much love into that thing, if you will. So guys, just real quick, to break down some numbers, in the last 12 months alone, I've made $277,481 US. My profit margin is around 80%, by the way, for my agency and stuff like that. In British pounds, by the way, the total revenue would be, to convert the 277k into British pounds, that's 212,000 pounds. On my Stripe, by the way, it will say 200,000 pounds there. There's also PayPal payments, bank transfers, and crypto that I've not included in that. So that actually takes it up to 212,000 pounds, 375 pounds, which is 277,000 US dollars basically. So that's absolutely insane. This is like literally just the last year alone, last 12 months alone. So that's over, $250,000 in the last year alone. So literally almost 300k at this particular point in the last year alone. So not only did I go from like being broke, but I'm also like a six-figure business owner, almost times 3 at this particular point. Well, technically I'm at this particular point just because, well, in a couple of months I'll be obviously pulling in a little bit more than that and whatnot. But honestly guys, absolutely insane. Now let's talk about the stuff I've actually kind of learned. Oh, by the way, that fee right there is obviously between my agency and my actual personal brand. By the way, my personal brand, aka consulting, has now overtaken my actual agency itself, which honestly I'm not too surprised about. I'm surprised about, but I'm not too surprised about, because if you listen to any big guru like Sam Ovens, even just like Gary V, any idol out there, any sort of top dog who's top of their game, Alex Hormozi, the natural progression of things and the things you should be aiming for is to go from a done for you service to a done with you service, all the way up to a done do it yourself service. And that's basically the natural progression. You can argue with it, but there's no point really arguing. That's just natural. It's almost like Darwin's theory of evolution. Like when you've got the Australopithecus and then you've got the actual ape and then you've got the man and whatnot, that kind of like goes in that particular order. You can't fault me for saying that. If you guys want to do this, I actually recommend you go and do this. Like get good at an actual done for you service, then turn it into a done with you service and do it yourself service. I actually recommend that. It's actually going to be much fun than that. Anyway, let's talk about what I've learned. So number one thing I've learned is that with SMA, it's not as easy as it sounds. You genuinely have to be good at delivering the service. You genuinely have to be good at doing outreach as well. Doing cold outreach actually sucks and you need a lot of numbers. Let me give you an example, guys. For me, it literally took me 8 months of sending 10 emails per day to actually land my first ever e-com client with cold emails. And if you actually do the maths, I did the maths the other day, I literally figured out that I actually had to send 1,600 individual emails to individual businesses plus 4 follow-ups for each one of those businesses to actually land with my first actual client for an e-com brand. That is a lot of emails. 1,600 different businesses I actually had to reach out to. Now that could sound like a lot to you depending on where you're coming from, but if you know anything about cold emails, you know that you have to put a lot of numbers in there, and it quite literally is a bit of a numbers game plus personalization. Don't forget that second bit. You actually have to do lots of personalization to lots of different businesses. If you can match these two things together, that's honestly how you're going to break through. The only problem is that it takes a lot of time, and most gurus in their programs only teach you they only really skip over the lead sourcing, prospecting and actual outreach bit. They don't really go in depth on how to actually find leads at scale, how to reach out to these leads at scale, how to actually do personalization at scale, and do all this outreach at scale. And that's literally step number one. Step number one is obviously you need to find leads, because then you need to reach out to those leads, and then once you've reached out to those leads, you need to get them on sales calls and then obviously close them and stuff like that. But most gurus kind of skip over that first hurdle, if you will, which is how do I go about even finding leads at scale efficiently, and what do I actually do? And then once you figure that out, then you have to obviously qualify these particular leads and then reach out to them and stuff like that. So I found that a lot of gurus in their programs unfortunately miss out that particular bit, which is why I've actually created what you call the quote unquote hybrid system, where it's like you use Upwork, grab a couple clients from Upwork, for example, or even just a warmer traffic. So it doesn't even have to be Upwork, could be any freelance website or any warmer or a warm audience. Basically, you can go on, find Facebook groups, that sort of stuff, close clients through a warmer audience, and then use that cash flow in order to invest into hiring appointment setters. And that's how I was able to break through. But long story short, guys, I've noticed that a lot of people, when it comes to SMMA, they don't understand the numbers that actually you genuinely have to do. They think they can just send 100 emails and get one client. That right is false. You need to send at least 1,600 emails. In my particular case, I sent literally 1,600 different emails to different businesses, all personalized, all personalized. Took me frigging ages, guys, and that was just because I was slowly testing like 10 emails a day or something, whatever it was. And obviously each email has to have, you know, proper personalization in there as well. Not only that, but like most people don't understand that like less than 3% of the market is ready to buy right there and then anyway. So there's all these different factors that go into it, such as like the right buying window, if they're qualified or not, if the business is even in a position to actually take, you know, be able to, you know, hire an agency, all that sort of stuff that goes into it. So that eliminates a lot of businesses. And then the consistency itself, I've noticed that most entrepreneurs, right, when they start agency stuff, they think they can, like I said, just send 100 emails and actually get clients. The problem with that is that that's not enough numbers. Not only that, but most people don't stick in for the long run. They don't stick in there for the long run. They normally send maybe emails for like a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, absolute max. They literally don't close any clients. And the reason for that is because it's just not a long enough period. If you literally don't give up, you will land clients. It's just that most people give up. And the reason for that is, and I understand this, it's because that, you know, doing lead sourcing, prospecting, and actually doing personalization for the actual emails that you're sending or cold outreach that you're sending is very long, very tedious, very slow, very time consuming. It's annoying. And of course, you're probably going to be inconsistent with that. It's almost like having to wake up and run a marathon every day. Nobody wants to wake up and run a marathon every day. And what I mean by that is it's almost like you're waking up and you know you've got this big hurdle to climb every single day. And most people can't even brush their teeth for 90 days straight without missing a single day. Most people can't even get up and make their beds for 90 days straight. So I've actually found it's more of a personal problem that's actually mirroring itself inside of their business. So if they're inconsistent in their life, such as they can't even wake up at the same time every single day for 90 days straight, there's no way in hell they're going to be able to do 15, 25 outreach per day every single day consistently. In fact, let me ask you this real quick, whoever's watching this. When was the last time you actually did something consistently for 90 days straight without missing a single day? If you can't answer that, then you're probably not serious about growing your agency. I don't mean that in a harsh way, but I know that if you're inconsistent in your personal life, you're going to be inconsistent in your business. That's a given. The way how you do one thing is the way how you do everything. And that's kind of like another thing that I've learned from SMMA. The second thing I've learned from SMMA is that you actually have to really be really good at Facebook ads if you're going to be closing like e-com brands, because they will leave you on like the first month or even before the month's even over. I've had both cases happen to me, you know, prior and stuff like that. We're definitely getting better and better and whatnot. But I actually genuinely have also found that, like, yeah, first of all, you have to be very good at your service delivery, because you actually, now that doesn't mean you personally have to do that. You actually want to make sure that you've got a very, very good media buyer. The second thing to add on to that point is that to find a good media buyer that's really, really good at what they do, that's also very difficult. So Facebook ads is difficult, and then finding an actual media buyer that's actually good at Facebook ads or even learning it yourself is very, very difficult. I'm not even joking. Like, quite literally, you could spend probably like a month, 2 months, maybe three or 4 months actually just looking for an actual, you know, Facebook ads media by somebody that's going to deliver the results for your actual clients until you find the actual perfect one. You can literally spend that much time trying to find a perfect dude for your actual agency, and that's normal. And the reason for that is because obviously you're trying to find somebody who's really, really good but still has a very good price that comes with it. And normally those two things are an oxymoron. It's kind of like the more experienced your media buyer is, the more they're going to charge you, basically, and obviously the less your profit margin is going to be, and vice versa. The less experienced they are, the less they're actually going to charge you, if you will. So it's very hard to find like a diamond in the dirt. So you're trying to look for very good, like a cheap diamond, basically. You're looking for a cheap diamond, and cheap diamonds don't really exist, if you will, unless the quality is really crappy at the diamonds. That's the point I'm trying to make. Normally, quality is associated with higher prices, is what I'm trying to say. So it's very hard to kind of like, you know, juggle around that and find an actual media buyer that genuinely knows what they're doing, because it's a very difficult game, if you want. But in Facebook ads itself, there's only a few moving parts, but the few moving parts that it does have to get it right is very, very difficult, if you will. And then finding the media buyer that can do that is also difficult as well. And it might even take you, like I said, 3-4 people think they can just literally start an agency, just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find a media buyer, and then I'm just gonna throw some Facebook ads at people and we'll be good to go. It doesn't really work like that, guys. And it doesn't really work like you're going to send 100 emails or 100 Upwork messages and you're going to close a client. It does not work like that, unfortunately. The actual litmus test, if I was you, I would say stick to 25 outreach per day for 90 days straight. If you can do that, then you've granted yourself an actual proper test, if you will. That is just a test. That doesn't mean you need to close client. That doesn't mean you need to be scaling your agency to like 10K in 90 days. Literally just a test to see if your outreach method's even working. So I feel like because we've been watching all these gurus and whatnot, we've kind of got this unrealistic expectation where you can scale an agency to to like 10K in like 24 days or like 12 days or whatever it is. Because to be fair, I did actually scale my agency to like 10K in 24 days, but that was after like 3 years of struggling. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's lots of work that went into it before for me to be able to do that. And the way how I broke through, guys, just real quick, if you're gonna take anything away from this video, this is what I would take away from this video. The way how I genuinely broke through with my agency was I figured out, right, that cold emails was obviously, it works. It's just that the numbers you have to hit are astronomical. That basically, that doesn't mean give up. It just means you need to find a way to be able to crank out more emails per day than the next agency, if you will. And yes, by the way, everything's saturated. This is a thing I found from listening to gurus. Nothing works, but everything works. Nothing's saturated, but everything's saturated. So any niche you go into, there's always going to be someone that says it's saturated, and then someone's going to say it's not saturated. So who do you listen to? I just say just go and try it all. Basically, is what I would say. Just go and try it all. And I found that like most people will say, oh, that one guru will tell you that this thing doesn't work, and another guru will tell you says it that definitely does work, and he lives by that. So what I've actually found from listening to gurus, it's so confusing, guys, is that like everything works, but nothing works, and then everything's oversaturated, but nothing's oversaturated. It's really crazy game. So you need to come off of YouTube, honestly, and actually just find a mentor that actually has what you want, and just invest in them and shut everything out and just literally focus on that one method, and obviously add your own variation to that one method. That's a very good thing to actually take from what I've just said just there. That was actually some gold right there. So definitely rewatch that, rewind that and rewatch what I just said there. And that's honestly one of the things that helped me. Second thing that really helped me in the way how I really broke through is I duplicated myself in terms of I was able to hire 2 first line writers, and that actually helped me scale. And let me give you an example as to what I mean. So December 2019, right? It took me, first of all, before that, it took me 17 entire months to get me my first ever client, right? And that was because I was doing cold outreach, cold this, cold that. And I was listening to all these gurus all online and doing all this stuff. I was all over the place. I was hectic. So I said to myself, you know what? December 2019, I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to stick to one outreach method. I'm just going to offer one service, and that was social media management, and I'm only going to use Upwork for outreach. I'm going to quit all these outreach things, all the different outreach methods. I'm just going to focus on one and try to get one to work. If you can't even get one to work, you shouldn't be doing all this other outreach. I'm a big believer in just focusing all your energy on a focal point to get the best results possible, if you will. All your energy in one area. So I just literally said to myself, I'm just going to focus all my energy on Upwork. And that's what I did. I did that, and it only took me 23 days to get me my first client on Upwork. And that was a $600 per month client for 3 months. They paid me for 3 months, that's $1,800. And then the very first day we worked with each other, I upsold them a $500 funnel. And they literally just used the ClickFunnels template, changed it around, added their logo, and just literally sold it to them. It literally took me about 20-30 minutes or something like that. I literally made $500 for that. I actually felt like an absolute baller, to be honest with you. But yeah, they literally wired that over via Stripe. That was a really cool day for me, if you will. And that was actually on Christmas Eve as well. I will never forget, because I was actually watching The Witcher on Netflix season 1. It's funny because I actually just watched season 2 this Christmas as well. That's just gone on Netflix, but now times have completely changed, to be honest with you. But yeah, it took me 23 days to get my first client on Upwork. Technically, out of that, it was actually 15 working days, because I didn't actually work Saturdays or Sundays. And out of the 15 days, I actually had to wait 2 days for a client to get back to me. So I had a call on like the 13th day in with a client, with the client that I closed. They said, oh, I need to think about it, because obviously I didn't really know what I was doing in terms of sales. And it took them 2 days to get back to me. And then on the actual 23rd day, 2 days after that, it was actually a close client of mine, and that was actually really good. Then I actually just continued to scale up with Upwork. Wasn't really thinking about cold email. It was when I quit YouTube. I actually quit YouTube to focus on like doing cold emails and stuff like that, and switching over to the ecom brand. I think that was like late 2020, and that's when I actually started and this is all I was doing. I was just doing Upwork outreach, and then I was like, okay, cool. Now that I've kind of mastered Upwork outreach and I can get clients, and I scaled up to like 5.2k or whatever it was USD. I'm gonna try get to, I think it was actually a little bit more than that, to be honest with you. Don't quote me on that. You can go back and watch my videos and whatnot. I can verify all this. But long story short, I then said to myself, I'm just gonna try cold emails in the background. So I literally just started sending like 10 emails a day by myself, no lead source or no nothing. I was doing it all by myself. I literally was like, yeah, this actually sucks. Honestly, like sending cold emails yourself, like finding leads, qualifying the leads, personalizing the message, and actually sending the message and then doing follow-ups yourself manually sucks. But I did that for like 8 months or something like that, 9 months, something like that. I think, no, technically I did it myself for a couple of months. Then I hired my first ever appointment sale or first line writer to help me do this. I actually started setting meetings, by the way, quite quickly actually. The funny thing is I actually genuinely started setting meetings quite quickly, but I just couldn't close them. You can verify that, because on my other videos I actually said the same thing. Just that I couldn't close the meetings. So I knew that I could set the meeting. So the front end bit was working, the actual sending of emails and setting up the meeting was working. So what I could do now is just replace myself. So I replaced myself by hiring an actual first line writer from the Philippines from Upwork. And then what I did was just told her to basically just send out these emails and do what I was doing. I just showed her what I was set meetings and the personalization, told her to do it. That started working well, and I was like, okay, cool, this is actually really starting to set me meetings now. Let me actually pull a second first line writer in and see what they can actually do for me as well. So I put 2 first line writers in, and this was actually around April last year. So that was actually April 2021. Funny thing is, because I was focusing on all these different systems, I actually ended up losing a couple clients. So actually my actual income dropped to about 3.1k British pounds, which honestly wasn't actually bad for me, because I literally didn't have any bills at that particular point. So I was sharing like an apartment with my actual ex-girlfriend at the time, and I didn't really have any bills, so I didn't really care that much about money. So I was literally just testing out cold emails, testing out all these different systems, lost a couple clients. So I was like, you know what, okay, cool, enough's enough. I'm gonna try scale up to that 10k per month mark once and for all. And I said to myself, on May the 1st, I'm actually gonna do this in 90 days. I got 90 days to scale to that 10k per month mark. I don't know what the consequences were. Maybe I was gonna quit. I don't think I was gonna quit. I was just gonna go back to Upwork probably. And then I literally just said to myself, 90-day challenge, let's go, let's do this. 24 days later, I was literally at just under $12,000 with my agency and stuff like that. So the way how I did that, by the way, it was literally, I just took the cash flow from Upwork clients. So I used a warmer traffic source, and this is just good for business in general anyway. This doesn't have to be for SMMA, doesn't have to be for coaching business. This is for any business. Use a warmer traffic source first to generate customers or clients first. Then take that cash flow, right, and then diversify it by hiring appointment setters. So if you've got a business that requires you to set appointments in some way, shape or form, this method will work for you. So find a warmer traffic source, get clients initially first. Then these clients basically are going to give you that cash flow you need in business to start putting systems in place, because it's always about systems. That's definitely one of the big things. Take away this, it's all about systems. Then that system is setting up appointment setters. So you've got appointment setters that go out there and they actually find leads for you, they reach out to businesses for you, and they actually send the personalized messages for you. And that honestly is how I've been able to blow up. Now, how my life has changed absolutely drastically, guys. Honestly, I've got less anxiety. If you actually work out my actual revenue I've actually made, I quite literally have made over like 24 years worth of actual bills. I'm not even joking. My apartment's like what, 700, and let's actually do the math real quick. My apartment, right, is actually 700. I actually made £212,000 in the last year alone. Divide that by £725, which is my actual apartment cost. That quite literally is 292 months. Divide that by 12 months in a year. I quite literally have made like 24 years worth of rent in revenue. Now the profit margins of that obviously are about 80-ish% and stuff. Obviously there's tax as well on top of that. So in revenue though, I've literally, not to boost my numbers or anything like that, but like literally this is what I've actually made, in revenue wise. But like quite literally 24 years of bills on an apartment that's brand new. Quite literally 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, floor to ceiling windows, 1,000 square foot, river views, it's got a balcony, got a dishwasher, everything I need. Like quite literally 24 years worth of rent. That's absolutely insane when you put it in that perspective. So guys, honestly, my life has changed drastically. I've got so much money now that I can literally go and buy like my dream car. I'm talking like Lamborghini, just straight cash without really having to bat an eye, and then have cash left over and shit like that for bills and whatnot. It's literally insane, quite literally insane at this particular point. I don't really need to worry about money. I'm not stressed. I have time to focus on passion projects, which is why I'm scaling my consulting business. The way how I see my agency is more of a cash flow business to generate that initial cash. And now that I've done that and scaled that up successfully, I want to focus more on passion projects, which is more like helping people scale their own online service-based business in some way, shape or form, whether that's a personal brand, whether that's consulting business, coaching business, or an agency. That's what I'm passionate about, because I've actually seen literal students go from broke, living in their mum's apartments, to living in a penthouse, making 10k per month at like 19, 20 years old or whatever it is. I've actually seen people tell me they've set themselves up financially for the future, quite literally because they were able to scale their agency so successfully. They've then invested that and set themselves up literally financially for the future. I don't know what they invested in, but that honestly sounds good to me. And obviously you've got people like Nick, for example, I just showed you earlier, that have quite literally scaled their agency to like 8k per month. Because I know what it's like to go from broke to making 6 figures, that's the transformation I want other people to make. And honestly, that's what I'm really passionate about, to be honest with you guys. I still love my agency and stuff like that, but I don't wake up like thinking, oh yeah, let's go and run some Facebook ads and whatnot for. Oh, and by the way, just if you're wondering, I way prefer social media management clients over Facebook ad clients, even though I know know that social media management clients are, the lower ticket, and obviously Facebook has a higher ticket, and it's much more prestigious kind of feeling and sounding service. I'm just a guru that will tell you that I'm not a guru, I'm just a guy that will tell you straight up, like, I actually genuinely prefer social media management clients. I genuinely do, to be honest with you. And whatever that is for you guys, whatever that does for you, you know, take that and run with it, if you will. But long story short, guys, hope you're doing well. And if you do want to work with me one-to-one, there is a link below, and there's only 4 spots available for this particular month, because it was 5. 1's been taken, that equals 4 the last time I checked. 5 take away 1 equals 4 the last time I checked. So yeah, definitely go and book in that. If you're booking a call and see if you're obviously a good fit, and we'll talk on there and we'll discuss all the logistics. Or if you just want to learn more about that, click the link below. And if you want to enroll into age traumatization, the discount is still on, because obviously the program's still being built out and whatnot. Absolutely crisp, that particular program, because obviously at this particular point it's still like 3/4 of the way built or something like that, and people are already pulling in 6-figure agencies from it, which is absolutely nuts. So what's it going to be like when it's fully built? It's going to be absolutely insane, quite literally. It's not even a year old yet as well. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, guys, hope you're doing well. If you want to enroll in that, the link's there. So like I said, I hope you're doing well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you like this one. Hope you can take some inspiration. Honestly, guys, see you guys soon. Hopefully we can continue this growth and, you know, scale up to like 50k, 100k, 200k, 250k a month. All those crazy numbers hopefully are gonna come my way very soon. So see you guys in the very next video, and don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.